All right, joining me now, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. Governor, welcome back to the show. I know you're terribly grateful, like all of us, that Mr. Trump is alive. His appearance on the floor of the convention last night was, Katie Britt called it, electrifying. I want to ask you, though, you're a successful businessman and investor and so forth. We're having a massive stock market rally almost out of the blue, and I just have to think it has something to do with the fact that a bullet grazed his ear, and with God's grace, he survived, because you can't have a growthier platform from Trump without Trump. And I think he showed the whole world last night there's plenty of Trump left. I mean, think about that for 1 second.
Well, absolutely. And I think all of us, you have to wake up, hey, divine providence at work for us to be 1 millimeter away from a very different week this week. We would have been a nation in chaos and a nation in deep mourning if we'd lost President Trump. But I think the market is maybe a reflection of how people are feeling, which is they, from the minute he raised his fist, and that photo that David Mills took is going to be the photo of the century. It's going to be in every children's history book 100 years from now, exemplifying the strength of leadership and what he brings to America. And I think the market also understands if President Trump's going to win, it's going to mean that he's going to whip inflation. We're going to have more energy at lower cost, which is baked into every cost of every Amazon delivery, every tank of gas, your electrical
bill. Glasses,
yeah, everything.
Sneakers,
everything.
Operating rooms.
Yes. So when we can drive that down, and then of course that drives national security up, because right now the Iranians, the Russians are getting filthy rich off of the market opportunity that's been created by Joe Biden waging a war against U.S. energy.
I couldn't agree more. I don't think everybody's going to agree with my opening riff, which was relating Trump to the stock market, and even Trump to Caterpillar, which is one of the leading stocks, a very old-fashioned industrial machinery, farmland type company. But you'll never talk me out of that. And, your point about energy, even in farmland, for example, one reason farm prices are high, one reason food prices are high is fertilizer.
Yes.
One reason fertilizer prices is high is because oil and gas is so high. I mean, doesn't one lead to the other?
Well, absolutely. Fuel is a big cost in agriculture, and whether it's for your tractor or your combine. But as you mentioned, we had a huge increase in fertilizer prices over the last couple of years, and more natural gas, convert that into fertilizer to nitrogen, and so the war that the Biden administration has had on energy has also a war against agriculture, not just because of the fertilizer prices, but if you want to kill an internal combustion machine, you're also killing biofuels, you're killing ethanol, and the price of land from Illinois to North Dakota today is set by the price of the fuels, not the food.
Right.
And so when you kill the fuel part of agriculture, if Biden gets elected again, you'll see a drop in the price of farmland in America. You'll see the collapse of the farm economy. You'll see farmers going bankrupt.
Time is short. I got to get out. I'm sorry. I know I'm looking at a future energy secretary or probably whatever else you want in the cabinet. Governor
Thank you, Larry.
Burgum, thank you. I'm sorry. We're just running short. All right.